Recently, there were 200 women of color that came out and said that Pelosi and Schumer were in the wrong for not backing Maxine Waters. I wanted to talk a little bit about that today, analyze it more in depth. Remember, Maxine Waters came out and said a few weeks ago that protesters should publicly confront and push back against Trump administration officials because of the president's zero-tolerance policy at the southern border. And so these women claimed that disparaging or failing to support Congresswoman Maxine Waters it was an affront to her and black women all across the nation, and that it telegraphs a message that the Democratic Party can't afford. And that message is that it doesn't respect black women's leadership and political power and discounts the impact of black women and millennial voters. I don't think Pelosi and Schumer would have stood by any Democratic congressman or congresswoman that made similar remarks that Waters made. I don't think this has anything to do with race and not respecting black women's leadership. For example, Al Franken, he's a white man, but they didn't stand by him when the allegations of his sexual misconduct came out. What I think this is about is Democrat Party trying to distance themselves from anything that's perceived as extreme in the eye of the public. There was recently a man who went and took a teenager's Make America Great Again hat, and he threw a drink in his face. This is the kind of stuff that gives right-wing radio talk show hosts a lot of ammunition. And so I think that they were right to not stand with Waters and to try to distance themselves and the party from that. I feel like that is what's best for Democrats across the nation if we want to be winning. We understand that Trump is incivil. A lot of his followers act at times with incivility. It's laughable the other day that Sarah Sanders, she said that we try every single day to treat everyone with respect. And that's laughable to even think about this White House press secretary saying. It goes back to the quote that Upton Sinclair said, that it's hard to get a man to understand something when his salary depends on him not understanding it. And so we need to push back against that narrative that Pelosi and Schumer and the Democratic Party in general does not respect the leadership of black women or black people. They're just trying to appeal to as many as possible, and Maxine Waters, to be honest, was wrong in her statement was with that. I know that there's been prejudice and that, throughout the years, and that it is important to back marginalized groups, but only if we need to back people that are in the right. We can't back someone who's saying inflammatory things just because they happen to fall into one of those kind of protected groups or those marginalized groups. I think that they would have tried to distance themselves from anyone saying that, regardless of their race or sexual orientation. And so I support Pelosi and Schumer. At the same time, while I support them, I think that it's horrible that Waters is receiving death threats. She had to cancel speaking events in Alabama, speaking events in Texas. Even though I don't agree with what she said, I think that she has a right to say it, and I can understand where she's coming from with this. Pelosi later said Waters is a valued leader. I don't know what else the creators of this letter, those that are trying to call Pelosi and Schumer out, I don't know what else they want.